Hey everybody, back with a new episode of Babylon 5. Last episode was a lot of fun having that news crew come in and just come in at the absolute worst time because the war was bleeding through near Babylon 5 because the Narn and the Centauri just are being, they're being who they are, but they're taking it too close to our neutral zone. We're trying to make Babylon 5 look good and necessary. And I think the captain did a really good job of showing how competent he is. So hopefully that comes through. Their favorability has been dropping, and I don't know if what got broadcast is going to make it any better. But we know the value of what they're doing, and hopefully it's enough to keep it going. That one senator that was ready to pull the plug at any time. So it wasn't the greatest showing. But, as bad as it was handled in the best way it could. So, the war better not bring down Babylon 5. I'll say that. This next episode is called In the Shadow of Zahadam. That sounds kind of like a word that is maybe meaningful to the Narn. I don't know if we've heard it before, but it kind of sounds like something that Jakar has said. But shadow obviously makes me think of those fucking darkness shadow things. So I wonder if we're gonna get into that. We haven't seen them in a while, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Morden here. So let's see. Here we go.
You see them come through here, you can't help but feel for them. But we're smart.
It's tough, but you gotta take them in.
Mr. Morden.
Well, look who it is.
I was expecting Ambassador Malari.
I'd like to live just long enough to be there when they cut off your head and stick it in your cake as a warning to the next 10 generations that some favors come with too high a price. I want to look up into your lifeless eyes and wave like this.
I really hope Veer gets to see that day. I want to see that day.
Mr. Morden.
I know this guy. I've seen him around.
What?
It's impossible he was on the Icarus when it exploded, same as Anna. No, Captain. I've seen him. He's alive.
Does that mean his wife is alive?
As of right now, I'm relieving you of duty. Report to your quarters and get some sleep. 6 hours minimum. After that, you report to the mess hall and have something to eat.
Good.
I'll join you there.
You're no good to them if you're brain damaged from lack of sleep.
Or anyone else in this condition.
A passing transport found the wreck, and I was outside, unconscious, floating in an EVA suit. I must have been outside working when the Icarus exploded. It was months before I could even remember my name, much less file a report. When I was back on my feet, I sent a message to Earth Central. I guess they never received it.
Isn't that convenient?
You're a damned liar. Earth Central thinks you're dead.
Right.
Until I send them my report, you are still dead. It means you've got no rights, no legal recourse. If necessary, you will sit here for the next hour, the next day, the next week, the next month, the next year, the next 500 years.
When I was raised a Jew, I went to temple. I was bat mitzvahed.
I didn't ask how you spent your adolescence. I asked if you believe in God.
Do you?
I'm a foundationist.
I've never heard of that one.
One of a bunch that sprouted after we made contact with aliens.
Yeah, that would probably create new ideologies.
To be defined by words. I've seen a lot of reflected gods today, Susan. And I'm wondering how we can keep believing in them when they've stopped believing in us.
What was the color of the transport that found you? By the time I am done with you, you will wish you had died on the Icarus.
Damn. Do what you gotta do. He fucking sucks, but I don't think it's gonna be just
our people from
waiting him out.
But is that enough? I can't believe Earth would pay us 50 extra credits a week just to walk around the station.
Correct. As the name implies, you must also be watchful. I'm proud to be a part of it, and I hope you'll all join me in becoming
I would
part
need to do some
the
major research about this organization. Peace at any cost is
I think I'm getting to it.
the
more
loss
I
of
pick
all
this story
freedom.
apart, the more it doesn't add up.
As head of security, every prisoner is my direct responsibility. I'm the one who's ultimately accountable, and it's my butt that'll be brought
Yeah,
up on
he
charges.
can't do.
You
He
can't
doesn't
look
have
at him
carte
and tell me
blanche
you
to do
think he is
any and
legit.
everything.
He's hiding something.
Of course he is.
Of course
So
he
I have the
is.
people on this station, but you can't go around arresting them for it.
Interpreting the regulations for a senior officer can be considered an act of insubordination.
Oh, don't go there.
Okay, so now what? You gonna charge me with insubordination? Is that it? You want to lock me up in the next cell?
I can't let him go.
Well, I'm sorry too. Because I can't be here as chief of security while something like this is going
Yeah.
on. Either it stops, or I resign.
Wow. Sheridan. You're being so irrational about this. I know, it's your wife, I get it. But you have nothing.
Find Talia Winters. Bring her here.
You cannot. On what grounds? Oh my god.
Diplomatic immunity only applies when the subject is charged with a crime. So far, Mr. Morden hasn't been charged. We're holding him in protective custody.
Protecting him from what?
I haven't decided yet. Good days.
You're out of pocket.
For 10 years, the only things that mattered to me were my wife and my career. When she died, she took the best part of me with her. I survived by telling myself that it was an accident, like everybody said, and focusing on the one other thing that I had left, my job.
Okay, but you're putting that
Now,
in
suddenly-
trouble right now.
That's all turned upside down.
Captain, you're trying to use the letter of the law to defeat the spirit of the law.
Yeah, that's not
Now, if you can get him
right.
to agree to a scan without duress,
You won't.
then there's nothing I can do.
He's never been so self-interested. It's very unlike him. I get it, but this is a lot. What do you got? Yeah, darkness. Evil.
I got him. Get him out of here.
He's surrounded by them. They're there all the time.
For what it's worth, I'm sorry. I didn't think that.
Yeah, you deserve that.
We have to speak with him about Mr. Morden. You must release him at once.
Y'all too?
You too?
Once you know his secret, once you know what we have known for the last 3 years, you'll never sleep well again.
Well,
The greatest nightmare of our time is waiting for you. The shadows were old, when even the ancients were young. They battled one another over and over across 1,000,000 years. The last great war against the shadows was 10,000 years ago. It was the last time the ancients walked openly among us. But the shadows were only defeated, not destroyed. Before they could strike, they were defeated by an alliance of worlds, including the Minbari,
oh.
and the few remaining first ones who have not yet passed beyond the veil.
The Vorlons?
When they had finished, the first ones went away. All but one.
Yeah, man.
That is why Kosh cannot leave his encounter suit. He would be recognized.
Recognized? By whom? Everyone.
I sent Kosh a message. Did you see Ambassador Kosh?
I did. Yes was the answer. What was the question?
Have the shadows returned to Sahad?
Oh, and that's when.
Hadum. That's the world Jakar's been warning us about all year. Learn.
Wife's ship.
They ran into the shadows. And then they grabbed Morden.
Maybe some of them were kept alive as prisoners. Anna might still be alive.
If she's alive, she's working for them.
Be released.
After what you just showed me, how can you ask me him go?
Because right now, they do not know how much we know. The last time, the Shadows lost because they moved too quickly.
How are they going to know?
Because Morden is never alone. Listen to me.
Yeah, and y'all are not allied right
we do
now.
not have the first ones to help us this time. We are on our own.
It's late, Captain. You want to get some sleep?
Whoa! That was a lot.
Now, if they evacuated Coventry, the Germans would know their code had been broken and switched to another system. If that happened, it could cost the Allies the entire war. I've seen newsreels of Churchill visiting the ruins a few days later.
It's a lot to live with.
For alone, she said.
They're with him, like standing by
Can you
him.
adjust the monitor? Scan on different wavelengths, infrared, ultraviolet.
I think so.
Do it!
I mean, letting him go is going to cost lives.
Stop! Cut him loose. Tell him it was all a mistake and he can go.
Wow.
You're sure?
It's the only choice to make. It's terrible. Wow. Fuck off, Morden. You agreed to work with them?
What's that?
What?
You're wearing it?
I figured, what the hell? Earth wants to throw around his money. Who am I to say no?
Oh, I don't know about this peace organization. Oh, gosh.
I want you to teach me how to fight them, how to beat them.
Y'all,
Sooner or later, I'm going to Zahadul. I'm going to stop them.
okay, you can't do it by yourself.
If you go to Zahadul, you will die.
Yeah.
I die. But I will not go down easily, and I will not go down alone.
Now that was a lot. Holy shit. I didn't think they were going to do all of that. But wow, way to move some pieces and let us know a lot more than I was ever expecting to know at this point. So Captain Sheridan ultimately did the right thing, even though he is now burdened with this secret in the same way that Churchill was. That was a good analogy. But man. Okay, so I remember seeing the Vorlon's tech and how their ship reminded me a little bit of the Shadow ships, how they both seemed kind of organic. So I thought maybe they might be from the same or have been around for a similar amount of time, but they are the originals, the ancient ones. And wow, the Vorlons are here to help us, but we gotta get our act together because we all have to ally against them. And they're slow playing it now, and they've attached themselves to the Centauri. I don't know how to unravel that. I don't know if it's going to be all of us versus the Shadows and the Centauri, or if we'll be able to like pull the Centauri back when you're like, hey man, like you really want to, like, if Londo's still in charge, if I know we've seen glimpses of his future and everything, I don't want to give up completely on him, but if he continues to work with Morden and them, then it's us versus them. And that fight is inevitable, which seems an interesting thing to think about. In the same episode, you have this like peace organization coming in when, you know, on the surface seems great. Who doesn't want peace? But wearing first of all, like enticing them to do it for money. Like obviously you didn't sell them on your idea, more so that you just, you know, it's like, here's some extra money to do this easy thing. I don't like that. I don't like the signifier and like who, like it's going to create an us versus them. And it seems very antithetical to what they're actually preaching. So I don't trust that at all, and I hope no one else joins, but it seems like a lot of people will, just for the financial reason. But yeah, I don't, that seems real sus to me. But wow, seeing Morden, seeing him being, they're there, they're with him, they're guiding him, they're using him. He knows, pretty sure they said that it was either like work with us or die, but he chose to work with them. I don't think Sheridan's wife is alive. I don't, and if she is, that means she would be working for them. I mean, I guess they could have imprisoned her, but why would they even bother? I feel like they would just eliminate and destroy. So this puts a whole new perspective on the episode when we were first introduced to Morden, and he was going around and kind of like getting to the base philosophies of all the different ambassadors, and seeing the worst in everyone and deciding to hitch their wagon to Londo and the Centauri. They've been like waiting for this. I'm glad that Delenn and Kosh know and are, keeping it cool. But like, oh my God, this on top of the little group that's keeping the secret about them going up against Earth, and then the Narn Centauri war, and then the Shadow. Like, oh my God, that is like the biggest of the biggest. And we've got all these little things that we're having to deal with on top of it. I don't know if they're going to get their act together, because it's a lot of things to kind of have to put aside for the greater purpose, which, I mean, I want to believe in, and I think there are a lot of people involved that could do that, but there's a lot of factors, a lot of wild cards, and I don't know how they're going to get it together. From what we've seen, it's going to end badly, end in fire in the way that we've heard. So I can't say that I have an optimistic outlook on them coming up against the Shadows, but I have to be, rooting for that. And I mean, I'm glad Sheridan did the right thing, even though there will be sacrifices, there will be casualties to letting Morden go. He's going to continue working with Londo. He just passed him some information. Narn are coming in left and right, injured. They're losing a lot. And that's going to continue happening, more so with Morden on the loose. But in the same way that they couldn't tell about, Churchill couldn't tell about the code being broken. He made the right, I knew he would, even though he was doing the absolute most with Morden, not even knowing all of this, just knowing that he had something to do with, or he was on the Icarus. Wow, I just thought when they told us the story of Sheridan's wife, I thought that was just to give him a backstory so we would like warm up to him fast, because we had the change of command, and that ended up being like the ship that found the Shadows, that woke them up. Woo! That is a cursed name. Never use that name for a ship. Never go on a ship called Icarus. Like, they flew way too close to the sun, to the other side of it, to the darkness. Oh no! Wow. Well, I'm glad that Delenn and Kosh realized it was time to tell him. They should have told him before this. But they had to learn to trust him, and I think they do. And especially with how he handled it once he knew everything, I think they do trust him. But that is quite a load to bear. But if anybody's going to, I wonder if he's going to tell anyone. I mean, I could see him telling Garibaldi. I feel like you got to tell some people. I wish he would tell Veer so Veer could talk to Londo, but that's a slippery slope. I don't know what you do. Wow. Billions of years ago, you can't comprehend how far advanced they are. I mean, the only solace in that is that we have someone in the Vorlons who are also kind of on that level. So that's helpful. But also now Sheridan's like on this, like, we're going to go after them, which is going to have to happen. But it's not just going to be you. It's got to be everyone. I don't think just the humans or just the Minbari is going to be enough. But it is something that they came together at one point and pushed them back. And like, they didn't end them. They defeated them. But that's going to have to happen again. Maybe they can do it for good this time. Wow. But like they said, like the other ones, the other ancient civilizations just kind of went on beyond the stars. So like that kind of shit will melt your mind, just how big the universe is. And even like outside of that, if you're talking about like parallel universes or string theory and all that kind of shit. Oh my God. But this seems so cool. So sci-fi. I'm very into that. And wow, what a great episode. And you know, I feel like they've shown a lot of their cards fairly early on. We're like almost done with season 2. I mean, there's 5 seasons, so I mean, it's got to come out at some point. But I certainly wasn't expecting to hear all of that right now. But at some point, Sheridan definitely had to know, because we've got to start working toward this, or we're not going to stand a chance. But there's just so much other things going on. I don't know how we put aside everything. But, Babylon 5 is going to be where it happens. I mean, all of these ambassadors for these different races coming together. We have to get on the same page about this. And I don't know how you do that with the Centauri. I don't know if it's possible at this point. But I still have a modicum of faith in Londo. I don't know why. It's not really based on anything other than we've seen the absolute worst in him, but we've also seen good sides of him, and I still want to believe that he could turn it around to some kind of point. So we'll see. But man, this is so cool. This was so good. I dig the shit out of that. That is wild to think about. Wow. Sheridan was, he was doing far too much. Like, we know way more. Oh, up until that point, we had known way more about Morden than he did. And I mean, I got no love for Morden, but he had no basis for anything he was doing, and even let Garibaldi leave and then put Talia in that position. But, it got us to where we are now, which is a lot more information than we had before. But I don't know what Delenn was waiting for, other than to get enough trust to tell him. But they must have told Sinclair when he left, maybe, for him to be okay with it. Maybe I feel like the Minbari will be the easiest to bring around just because they faced them before. But, Earth, like, humans are so young, they don't know anything about this. And the Narn and Centauri are too busy fighting, and oh man, that's a lot. But yeah, what a hell of an episode. I really, really enjoyed that. I'm so excited we got as much information as we did, but still so many questions, and I can't wait to see how it all plays out. But I'm still going into it as optimistic as I possibly can be, that they'll find some way to defeat the shadows. Like, please do. We'll see. But this was a great episode. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back soon.